Namaste. Today I am going to discuss about a ancient Indian breathing technique. In fact, this breathing technique is a prerequisite to pranayama, yoga, dhyana, meditation, and so on. Why is this important? Because this is a technique which cleans your nadis. So, what are nadis? We would explore in the subsequent discussions. So, we explore to understand that nadis are explained in Hatha Yoga Pradipika and also in Upanishad. The mention of Nadi is made. In Yoga Chudamani Upanishad, in verse 14 and 15, it talks about the Nadi being located just above the genital and below the navel region. And they talk about that there are 72,000 Nadi which originate from this center. I repeat, 72,000 nadis. Now let us look at this diagram. If you see here, there is an egg-like shape on the diagram, and from that nadis are emanating. Now you would see that Upanishads says that around 72,000 nadis are emanating from it. Now that is too much of nadis. How can we clean them? In Shiva Samhita, in chapter 2, verse 15, it is mentioned that out of 72,000 nadis, 3 nadis are the most important ones. And these are Ida, Pingala, and Sushma. Now, so let us discuss to understand what is an Ida Nadi. As you see there, under Ida Nadi, there is moon. What does moon denote? Moon denotes calmness. Moon denotes coolness, tranquility, and it produces a cooling effect. So the Ida Nadi is associated with moon. Pingala Nadi, if you see, there is a sun there. It is indicating of heat. It is indicating of logic. It is indicating of energy. So Pingala Nadi is associated with qualities of energy and heat, whereas Ida Nadi is associated with calmness, tranquility, and cooling effect. And also for intuition and creativity, Ida Nadi plays a major role. In logic, Pingala Nadi plays a role. In the center, what you see is Sushumna Nadi, and this Nadi is responsible for spiritual awareness. It's a central channel, and it balances and it gives you equanimity. So, as per Upanishads, there are 72,000 Nadi. As per Shiva Samhita, 3 Nadis are the most important ones. One is Ida Nadi, Pingala Nadi, and the Sushmana Nadi. Now, we have looked at it from an ancient Indian philosophical point of view. Now, let us understand from a modern scientific viewpoint of view, how does these nadis translate to an autonomous nervous system. As you know, the human body works 24/7. We don't tell our body when we are hungry, when we should be hungry, when we should breathe. So body takes care of it in an autonomous manner, and this is a very important aspect of our human body. It creates various functions in a subconscious autonomous manner so that the body does its intended functions. Now, there are two major components of autonomous nervous system. If you see in this diagram, there is a sympathetic nervous system which is responsible for fight or flight. You would see in the picture there is a person who is running, and there is increased heart rate, increased suppose you are stressed, you will have a stress hormone and you would be alert mentally, and there would be arousal. Similarly, if you look at on the other side of the slide, you would see a parasympathetic nervous system. This is responsible for relaxation, recovery. It is responsible for reducing the heart rate and also emotional calmness. Now, sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system are the two aspects of autonomous nervous system, and this has its own functions. Now, take for instance, you are in a place where you see a snake. The sympathetic nervous system gives you the trigger of flight or fight. Whereas you are in a place where you are relaxed by the riverside, then the parasympathetic nervous system triggers and you feel the state of relaxation. And in addition to that, there is a vagus nerve which goes from the brain to the various organs like the heart, lungs, and the intestine. And this is responsible for various functions within the body. So what does happen if you slow the breathing? Then the heart rate slows down, it improves the emotional regulation, it promotes relaxation, and it improves the autonomous balance. So you would see here that how breathing can impact your autonomous nervous system, and also it can improve the communication between the brain and various organs in the human body. Now, how does Nadi cleaning or Nadi Shuddhi works? Nadi has various types of impurities. So before starting a pranayama or any yogic exercise, Nadi Shuddhi is considered to be an activity which is a prerequisite which will help us to clean principally these three nadis, Ida, Pingala, and the Sushumna Nadis. In addition to that, this technique of Nadi Shuddhi is said to have cleaning your all 72,000 nadis in the human body. So that is why in yoga philosophy or Hatha Yoga Pradipika or in Upanishads, the importance of Nadi Shuddhi is the most significant. In fact, this is a technique which should be practiced before you venture out to do any other yogic techniques. Now, this is also mentioned in Hatha Yoga Pradipika clearly. Now you would see the translation saying that when the nadis are full of impurities, the breath, that is the maruta or prana, cannot enter through the human body. Therefore, one should first practice Nadi Shodhana, that is the purification of these channels, and then begin with pranayama. Now, how does Nadi Shuddhi work? Now, if you look at this diagram, there is in that picture it shows the stabilization of the graph. So when Nadi Shuddhi is practiced, you could see that there is an autonomic nervous system balance. It improves the attentional regulation, and that creates a sort of a tranquil state of the mind. What does the research finding tells about Nadi Shuddhi? Now you see, this is the first study wherein Nadi Shuddhi practice of around 20 minutes is going to reduce your basal heart rate of the heart, indicating the importance of Nadi Shuddhi for the cardiovascular system. In the second study, this was from Journal of Ayurveda and Integrative Medicine, it was found that Nadi Shuddhi Pranayama significantly reduces the ART, that is the auditory response. And the third study, you would see that in this study, Nadi Shuddhi Pranayama was found to impact the systolic blood pressure, the systolic blood pressure, and also reduce the heart rate. So this indicates the importance of Nadi Shuddhi Pranayama even from a scientific point of view. In fact, if you Google in order to get articles on Nadi Shuddhi Pranayama, there are so many articles written on this important breathing technique. Now, there are 4 ways you can practice the Nadi Shodhana Pranayama or Nadi cleaning Pranayama or Nadi cleaning breathing. So what we are going to do is a basic method. Then in subsequent videos, I would make the second technique, third and fourth and so on. So you would see here, this is the Nasika Mudra. You can do it like this, or you can just close these two together. It can be practiced either keeping these two here and just close your nostrils through these two, or you can practice this way, whichever is comfortable for you. So the first thing is just close the with the thumb, the right, breathe out and breathe in. Breathe out, breathe in. Breathe out, breathe in. Breathe out, breathe in. Try to do it 5 times by closing one nostril. After that, change the little finger and then index. Just try to close the left nostril and breathe out to the first the right nostril. Breathe in, breathe out. Now this one nostril close, take breathe out, other nostril is closed, breathe out. So in first round we close one nostril and take 5 breathing out, in, out, in, out, in 5 times. Other nostrils like this 5 times. This constitutes one round. Now this is the preliminary practice technique, and like this you need to practice around 5 rounds for 6 weeks. So this is, we are trying to sensitize the body by to understand the breathing pattern. So do it very slowly without making any sound, and after you practice it 6 weeks, then you would gain some mastery. So while breathing in, see to it that you take a breath for 5 counts. Like when you breathe, 5 count, and then breathe out for 5 count. So initially you may feel it difficult, but over the time period, minimum 6 weeks time, you would be able to take it and breathe out. This is the preliminary step of Nadi Shodhana Pranayama. In the subsequent techniques, we would try to take through one, remove to the other, and so on. But this is the basic which you need to practice minimum 6 weeks in order to see its benefit, and try to be aware as much as possible in this technique so that you could see its effect on your body. So in chapter 6 of Dhyana Yoga, that is the Yoga of Meditation, verse 25, Lord Shri Krishna describes the practice of Dhyana Yoga, emphasizing gradual control of the mind through steady practice, patience, and self-discipline until it becomes fully absorbed in the sense or in the Atma. So, what is required by practicing Nadi Shodhana first phase is that try to be as gentle as possible so that you would see its impact in the due course of time. In the next video, we are going to discuss about the stage 2 of this practice. Till then, Namaste.